enjoy being comfortable in your body, because it's already hard enough and your body size doesn't freaking matter. So yeah, fuck that. Get yourself some comfortable clothes.
Welcome to the Caroline Schmid podcast. I'm your host, Caroline, and this is the stripped naked version of my life. This podcast is here to inspire, to support you, and to learn together. On here, I share my raw stories of my life, my wins and failures, all about energy healing, spirituality, and consciousness, and most importantly, on how to better your mental health. I hope you enjoy, and let's get into it.
Hello and welcome back to the Caroline Schmid podcast. I'm your host, Caroline. If you're new here, welcome. Today, I'm going to share 10 things I would do differently in pregnancy and postpartum to have a better time enjoying both of them and a faster recovery. So let's get into it. Number one is that I would focus more on working out in pregnancy and working out postpartum. Now, I would focus more especially on workouts for the perineal floor during pregnancy, because I believe maybe that it would shorten my peeing myself era by a bit. I know for a lot of women it's common to pee yourself if you sneeze, if you cough, whatever, but I have never heard other women talk about this. In the beginning, I would pick up something and it would not even be that heavy, because also in the beginning you shouldn't lift as heavy or not heavier than your baby. And I would pick something up and I would pee myself. So yeah, that was a very noble era in my life. So I would focus more on working out for the perineal floor, so focused on that body part, and also do more workouts in general during pregnancy, because in the last 2 months of being pregnant, I was very bored and annoyed because I was getting heavy, I was out of breath all the time, I was of course tired. I would get up in the morning, I would eat breakfast and then nap for 2 hours, and then of course you're hungry, and I would be just annoyed by the state that I'm still pregnant. Of course, your baby, which is good, your baby needs a certain time to develop, and I'm very lucky that I was pregnant for that long, because that meant that my baby could use the womb, the space in my body for as long as he needed to. So still, I was just fed up with this entire situation. So in the end, I was lying on the sofa and watching TV for way too many hours, which I would now do differently. Just to enjoy the time more, and to do, if it is if you're going to have your first child, just to enjoy the time by yourself, because you won't get it as fast back. I believe that you won't have that much me time for a very, very long time in your life. And you should enjoy it and not just watch TV or scroll on your phone. Number 2, prioritize me time during postpartum. I think it's a very necessary discussion to have with your partner, where I know if you're expecting your first child, you have no idea. Also, if you talk with other parents, we did that too, and they told us enjoy your time with each other, do things, because you won't have the chance or as quickly afterwards, and your partner time, your relationship time will be very timed on a schedule. So enjoy that. And of course, we listen to these people and everything, but I could have never imagined the reality of being parents, and how much energy and how much of selflessness it takes to raise a child. So having the discussion with your partner that you need daily, okay, at least 5 times a week, 5 out of 7 days, you need time for yourself. And if you decide to breastfeed, I breastfed my baby. In the beginning, you are a milking machine and you are like a magnet that the baby is always or most of the time around you. And it can be very difficult, not only because your baby's around you for so many hours of the day, but also because I feel, or at least it was with me, I felt I was obligated to be around my baby all the time, to do stuff in the household, to do stuff for the family all the time. And then the time for myself, for like, okay, I'm going to do my nails, or like just things that are not basic hygiene, or like cooking myself a nice meal, or not even cooking myself a nice meal, but just like ordering food and watching a movie, or like whatever, like plan a play date with your friends who maybe also have a child. If not, they can just like come over, tell them to bring snacks. Okay, that's my entry ticket into our home. If someone comes over, I always tell them, please bring snacks. And then they bring snacks and you don't need to worry about maybe you have not eaten as much. So sometimes eating snacks is better than nothing. And also, if you like go and sit on the toilet, I mean, lids down and then you, and just like breathing for 10 minutes, have a good cry if you need it, but like shutting a door and being by yourself in a space is necessary. The third point on my list is meal prepping, and not meal prepping like, okay, I have like 2-3 meals, whatever, in the freezer. No, your freezer is going to be full of meals. Like I am talking about 20 different meals because you don't want to eat the same thing all the time. Your freezer is, the existence of your freezer is because of your pre-cooked meals, okay? If you like, you can also pre-cook pasta and rice. I think you can freeze it and then eat it, that it's still enjoyable, and put that into like a container, okay? If you do have a container, have like plastic bags. I don't know, not the most environmental thing to do, but meal prep the fuck out of your freezer. And you can already start doing that very early. You do not need to start it in the 8th or 9th month of pregnancy. And to the entire food subject, ask people when they come over to bring food. Like, I'm not kidding. I am someone who has a lot of issues with asking for help because I don't want to be a burden. And I did that very seldom, whatever, not that often, which then I was like, I needed to cook more by myself, or I will order food, whatever. So I would ask, I think in America this is very common, like to do in pregnancy, to prepare a meal train, it's called, that you have several friends, and like friend number 1 cooks I don't know, 3 meals, and they bring it then, and then the other friend cooks it. So every friend like cooks a little, but then in the end you have a lot of meals together, which you can just like stock in your fridge and your freezer. Because postpartum, you just want to save every little bit of energy, and you're going to be so grateful that you just need to take it out of the freezer, heat it up, and you can eat. Point number 4, knowing that breastfeeding does not come naturally. I had so much pain in the beginning with breastfeeding, where I told myself, okay, I'm going to breastfeed for 2 weeks, and I'm going to breastfeed for 3 weeks. And then end of the 3rd week, it got a little better, and I was like, okay, I'm going to breastfeed for 5 weeks or something, or until 6 weeks, whatever. I would give myself small goals. Okay, I'm just gonna breastfeed for 1 week longer and 1 week longer and so on. And with time, it got better. But in the beginning, when I was, for example, breastfeeding on my right side, I was having pain from my boob into the entire arm, into my pinky, where I thought someone was stabbing me with a knife. And that more than 10 times a day for like 10 to 30 minutes. To reduce those pains, I would, in pregnancy, prepare much more and inform myself more about breastfeeding on different techniques. So on different, like how you're holding your baby, because in different positions, how your baby is, it will hurt less. And sometimes in the beginning, these are very strange positions, but they're so much more comfortable that you don't even like realize that you're breastfeeding, which is basically the goal, that you don't have any pain, and it's like more on the enjoyable side, that you can bond with your baby, you can enjoy that skin to skin contact. So I prepare more with like, I had like a nipple cream, but then my baby would not latch properly, so I had to change up the cream and whatever. Organize some nipple shields. They're made out of silver. They're very anti-inflammatory, so the good stuff. And inform yourself how you're going to breastfeed. So do you want to use a pump? If yes, get to know the milk pump before giving birth. So you have time to know, okay, to learn how the machine works, to learn how to put all the things onto your boobies, okay? Learn how to do that so you do not have to do it postpartum. Again, you have enough things to do, and too little energy and the nerves and too little sleep and too little food, everything too little of the resources for you to be learning the new stuff. So do that before and it'll be easier after. Number 5 is to get yourself more comfortable clothes. You will be in postpartum sweat. You are going to sweat, or at least me. I was sweating like crazy. Postpartum sweat is a thing. You're gonna be in spit up, in milk, in pee, in poop, covered by it. So you want to change your clothes because you don't want to smell like a diaper all day long. And you also do not want to like do the washing every second day. So get yourself more comfortable clothes. Also, like some clothes where you feel like a human and not like a couch potato. And to find appropriate clothes for your body. And I was not really comfortable with getting myself clothes in a much larger number. Needed some time to adjust. And also like I was ashamed that I gained so much weight, or that I'm not like bouncing back so quickly. So I was not buying myself in the beginning new clothes because I just wanted to like fit in my old clothes again. Especially like with pants, you want to be comfortable with a shirt. And also like I bought myself like nursing bras way too late because I thought I would not need them. They're much more comfortable than like having to have a war with your bra and like your shirt or your like sweater, whatever. Like get yourself some comfortable clothes and like enjoy being comfortable in your body, because it's already hard enough and your body size doesn't freaking matter. So yeah, fuck that. Get yourself some comfortable clothes. Number 6 is setting clear roles and expectation. Okay, this overlaps a little bit with point number 2. So for me time, that you sit down, you have a discussion, when is who responsible for the baby, so the other one can have time for themselves. But also I now mean with chores, just like with everyday tasks, which you just want to have clear set roles that you do not need to have these discussions or even fights later. Number 7 is something that I learned just recently, is when the baby sleeps, you do things for yourself and not for other people, okay? When baby sleeps, you can eat, you can sleep, you can do your nails, you can take a shower, like whatever it is, do only things that are good for your own well-being, okay? That you refill your cup. Because you can load the dishwasher when the baby's awake. You can do the washing when the baby's awake. You can do all of that when the baby's awake, okay? What I also started to do is that once every 2 weeks, once a month even, we buy a lot of veggies and I cut them down in one day in bags and I put it into the freezer, and some of it I will already prepare some food for him. So now I don't need to cut, I don't need to cook, I need to cook, but I don't need to cut or clean some veggies. If we run out of food for him, I just take out the already cut veggies, which I, for example, just did today at lunch, that I took some out and we have like this baby food cooker, whatever. And I love that thing because you can just like pop it in, tell it, okay, to cook it for like 10 or 15 minutes, how hard basically the veggies is. It's like cauliflower or is it carrots or sweet potatoes. And then in the same machine, you can mix it so it is smooth and ready for the baby to eat. Now, doing that when the baby is awake and preparing all of that and not needing to prepare that when he's asleep, so then he has food for when he wakes up. So only do things when baby's sleeping that refill your own cup, please. Number 8 is to prioritize time with your partner. We have a weekly date night where every week we do something different. And it's just like 2 or 3, 4 hours for ourselves that we can enjoy the time, we can talk, we can like refill the cup of our relationship. But to have that on a regular schedule, I think is super important. And our relationship has been going better since we started implementing this. Otherwise, like, you do not want to only be parents. You're also wife and husband, or like whatever partnership scenario you have. You want to be in the relationship as well. You're not only parents, but you're also relationship if we look at it from the family triangle. And just like doing that is also going to benefit yourself, because you will feel like, I'm not only mom, I'm not only dad, but I'm also a partner. I can also go back into like being a mom, being sweaty, being like, is not always that attractive. But if I go on a date and I can like prepare, like I can dress nicely, and I know it's not about looks, but like if we're in your trainers, in your oversized t-shirt all the time, it doesn't need to necessarily bring out the sexy person in you. So doing that, emphasizing partner time, I think is very important and will benefit you, yourself, and your partnership a lot. Number 9 is to not stress about sex. During pregnancy, you have more hormones, you maybe want to have more sex. And in pregnancy, I could have never imagined not having sex for 6 weeks. And the 6 weeks, I think, thought about sex like once or twice in the means of, I don't want to have it ever again. And in postpartum, I realized that if you're so tired because like you're just not sleeping, your energy levels are so low, you're not getting any like privacy or like time for yourself, or not at least a lot of it. There's such a big change in your life, in your relationship, just like you now as a parent, and now that you have given birth, just like everything feels different. You don't want anyone, anything down there. Like your boobs are now milk machines. They're not like fun things to do. So you're not thinking about it and not like having sex exactly at this like 6-week appointment. I think is so also normal. And another thing that we're getting now very personal is that for a long time, when we started to have sex again, it was very painful and not enjoyable at all. But because I had the hopes up that at some point it will feel enjoyable again, it will be fun again, we tried and whatever. The thing is, still now, it does not feel the same like it was in pregnancy or like even before pregnancy. So I think your body, my body, needs so much more time than like social media or society tells us, like, yeah, when you have your 6-week doctor's appointment, you can go and like fuck the world. Like, this is not, I think, for many women, the reality. At least for me and like some women I follow, for example, on TikTok, they talked about this very openly. Like, you are like not in the mood